Okay, guys, good, good for you. And now we start with the ISO 45001 2018 standard. This is for the OSH standard. And in uh, this standard before was for the OSAS 18001 to 007. After, in September 2018, they revised the system and they make this ISO 45001 2018 standard. So now we will today in the today's session we will discuss about the ISO 45001 2018 standard requirements. So now say this one by one. Uh, these are the key changes. Now, as per the other ISO standards, also have 10 classes. So we will take this one by one. Scope. Class 1 is for the scope of the management system. The standard is applicable to any organization that wish to establish an OSH management system to eliminate or minimize risk, implement, maintain, and continually improve an OSH management system. Demonstrate conformity with this ISO standard by making a self-determination and self-declaration or seeking confirmation of its conformance by parties having an interest in the organization, such as customers, or seeking confirmation of its self-declaration by a party external to the organization, or so when we are talking about this structure is based on the HNS or ISO high-level structures. Now we will take this one by one. What is NXSL? Alexi, when we are talking about the NXSL is the define the framework for various management system standards, which is intended for development of new management system standards, a revision of existing management system standards. So these are the classes. Hazard. So terms and definition. Now we discuss some terms and definition. Source situation or act with a potential for harm in terms of human injury or ill health, are a combination of these. Now, risk. FROSIAP recognizes that a hazard condition and defining its characteristics. So we will come here again. We will skip this because you have this from other videos. What is in OSHMS? What is in OSHMS? An OSHMS is a documented management system designed and implemented by an organization to manage or control those of its activities which have potential for harm to its workers and others who can be affected by its activities. Defined as management system are a part of the management system used to issue OHS policy. Purpose of the OSHMS. What is the purpose of the OSHMS? Uh, the companies develop the OSHMS for the purpose of to provide a framework for managing OHS risk, to help organizations to provide safe and healthy workplaces, to prevent work-related injuries and ill health to workers, and to provide safe and healthy workplaces, to eliminate hazard and minimize OHS risk by taking effective preventive and corrective measures, to prevent organization OHS performance, to assist an organization to fulfill its legal requirements and other requirements. Other requirements, when we are talking about other requirements, sometimes this is the client's requirements. Sometimes this is requirements of self-regulation of the organization, where the organization sustains its business, enhancing OHS performance and reputation of the organization. Now, purpose of OSHM is to control or influence the way the organization products and services are designed to achieve financial and operational benefits that can result from implementing OHSMS that strengthen the organization market position to communicate information on OHSMS to relevant interested parties. So now we are discussing start. Now we are discussing the class number 4. In the class number 4, these are new requirement in the ISO 45001. As also the other ISO standards also have this class number 4. Before this class, when it was OSAS 18.001-2007, this part 4.1, 4.2 was not there. Now this is to make in line this with other ISO standards. They keep this 4.1 and 4.2. So now we discuss what is 4.1 and 4.2. The organization shall understanding the organization and its context. The organization determine external and internal issues that are relevant to its purpose and its strategic direction, and that affect its ability to achieve the intended result of its QMS, OSHMS, or EHSMS. Now, monitor and review information about these internal and external issues. Now, internal issues, governance, organization, roles and responsibilities, policies, objectives, and strategies. External issue, culture, social, legal, financial, technological, economic, and other market issues. Impact of new competitors, contractors, suppliers, and other providers. Internal issues again, resources, knowledge and competence, capital, time, human resources, process and technologies. External new technologies, laws and new knowledge on products and process and their effect on the OHS. Key drive and trend are relevant to the particular survey on sectors. Introduction of new products and services. Relationship with workforce, contractor and outsource arrangements. Working time and working condition. External issues, relationship with and perception of external interested parties, how we take the external third parties. Now, when we are talking about the 4.2, the need and expectation of interested parties means the stakeholders. Every organization have stakeholders. So, now what are the stakeholders and what are their expectations from our organization? Understanding the need and expectation of interested parties. The organization shall determine the interested parties that are relevant to the health and safety management system, the relevant needs and expectation, the requirement of these interested parties. Which of these needs and expectation become its compliance obligation? Now, customer. We have one interested party, that is the customer. What is the customer actually needs from us? What's the customer needs from us? What is the customer needs and expectation? Now we are discussing the needs and expectation of the customer. So they are interested about the design, quality, price, quick response, and on-time delivery of products and services. If there are accidents in the organization, the customer will not get their products on time. So, because if we have a customer, sometime our products are getting by our client from us, and they themselves not using this, but give this to other interested parties. Uh, so if there is delay to their products, some accident happened to us or something, we will be unable to deliver their products on time. Owners, shareholders, sustain probability, transparency, legal compliance implies good work environment, health and safety, job security, professional development, recognition, reward, working relationship. They implies suppliers, contractors, beneficial. What are their needs expectation? Beneficial relationship, mutual benefits, and continuity, prompt payment, good working relationship, regulatory and statutory. What's the government or from where we have our license? What is their expectation? Compliance and reporting, environmental protection, ethical behavior, compliance with statutory and regulatory requirements, and what is the health and safety regulations they want from us, conformity to industry codes and standards. Now, in Abu Dhabi, UAE Abu Dhabi, we have the regulatory framework, ADOSH SF, Abu Dhabi Occupational Safety and Health System Framework. From where we have our license, we are operating in any sector, hospital, schools, hotels, construction, manufacturing. Our regulatory authority, from where we have our license, they have this expectation from us that we will comply with their requirements. Otherwise, they will not allow us to continue our business anymore. Local residents. What is the local residents' uh, expectation? No complaint related to noise, parking, waste, health and safety, pollution. Bank finance, financial performance, cash flow, the bank and finance, from where we have loan or something. Trade unions, employment law, compliance, good working relationship with management. Then insurers, no insurance companies, no claim risk management, bumper payment. Now, in this, we have uh, internal interested parties like workers, unions, top management, board of directors, suppliers, contractor, management team. Here, external consumers, regulators, legislators, media, then shareholders, social interested group, and community. Now, this is like all the ISO standards, as they have the scope in class number 1, class number 4.3. Now, over here, uh, how we will put the scope of our organization. What we have had in our commercial license will be our scope of work, will be our scope. Now, the others we have from the scope, like what we have in the 4.1, external and internal issues, and second one is the compliance obligations in their expectation. So in this case, we will consider what are our activities and what are our internal external issues and what are our expectations from our side of stakeholders. As organizational units function in physical boundaries, as authorities and ability to exercise, control, and influence. Occupational Safety and Health Management System. This is the class number 4.4. To achieve the intended outcomes, including enhancing its OSH performance, the organization shall establish, implement, maintain, and continuing improve an OSH management system, including the process needed in their interaction in accordance with the requirement of this as international standard. Fulfill legal requirements. What we have the fulfill legal requirement. When we develop our objective, there will be the legal requirement will be compliance to the legal requirement will be also there, part of the objective. Now, when there is some new, this is like see, this is the new requirement. when this OHS system became the standard for ISO 45001, some new requirements came here. So what are the new requirements? What are the new requirements? This new requirement is class number 4. Class number 4, 4.1, 4.2. Now, so these are the new requirements, raising management system to a higher level, innovation, top management involvement in the process. The evaluation is not a one of it will need to be revisited and reviewed to reflect the changing leadership landscaping in which you manage your OHS risk and opportunities. Uh, class number 5 of ISO 45001 is the leadership and worker participation. Leadership and management. 5.2 is the OHS policy. 5.4, 5.3 the organizational rule, responsibilities, and authorities. In other ISO standards, when we are talking only 5.1, 5.2, and 5.3. As we see in the ISO 14, ISO 9001, only 5.1 leadership and commitment, then 5.2 OHS policy, and third is the organizational rule, responsibilities, and authorities. But over here, 5.4 consultation and participation of worker. Because for the safety, this is more and more important. Because to develop a safety culture in any organization, consultation and participation of worker is required. So this class, subclass 5.4, you will not see this in the 5, you will not see this class 5.4 in the other ISO standards like 9.1, 9001 for the chemist and for the environment, ISO 14. So this is the edition 5.4 in the 4 in the ISO 45001 2018 standard. Now let's see one by one. Leadership and commitment. When we talk about the leadership and commitment, top management shall demonstrate leadership and commitment with respect to the OHS management system by taking overall responsibility and accountability for protection of work-related health and safety, ensuring that the OHS policy and related OHS objective are established and are compatible with the strategic direction of the organization. Ensuring the integration of the OHS management system process requirement into the organization business process. What do you mean by this? See, ensuring the integration of the OHS management system process and requirement into the organization business process means that if we are a construction company, now currently we have 3 projects. Now we got 4 projects more. So we will have to develop our organizational planning. In this planning, we cannot ignore the health and safety. So for health and safety, we will also have program. When we are extending our business, so we will have to take care of health and safety. Ensuring that the resources needed to establish, implement, maintain, and improve the OHS management system are available. Ensuring active participation of workers and where they exist, worker representatives using consultation and the identification and removal of obstacles or barrier to participation. Communicating the importance of the effective OHS management and of conforming to the OHS management system requirements, ensuring that the OHS management system achieve its intended outcomes. Now, directing and supporting response to contribute to the effectiveness of the OHS management system, ensuring and promoting continual improvement of the OHS management system to improve OHS performance by systematically identifying and taking action to address non-conformities, opportunities, and work-related hazard and risk, including system deficiencies. Because sometimes we have the system, but we have had some deficiencies in our system. So time to time, this is required that time to time the system will be audited and the system will be reviewed in the management review meeting. And apart from this, why 5.4? Because worker uh, input is required. Worker input is required because due to their participation in the management system, we can increase the safety culture of our organization. Now, supporting other relevant management rule to demonstrate their leadership as it applies to their areas of responsibility are developing, leading, and promoting a culture in the organization that support the OHS management system. OHS policy, as other classes of other ISO standards, also 5.2 policy, as we discussed in the ISO 9001 and then ISO 14. This was also in the 5.2. Now here also 5.2. But there in the quality it was QMS policy, in the environment it was EMS policy, and here is the OSH policy because this is from the OSHMS management system. Now, 5 OSH management system. 5 basic commitment for the OHS policy are specified in this international standard. Provide safe and healthy working condition for prevention of work-related injury and ill health. As in the ISO, as in the ISO, as in the ISO, we have this ISO, we have this uh, ILO, ILO C155, Article 16, 1, A, B, and C. Safe place, safe workplace, safe machinery, PP regarding this safe procedure. Now, number 2, satisfy applicable legal requirement, other requirements. Other requirement means our own requirements are our client requirements. Control OHS risk using the hierarchy of control. We will discuss this 8.1.2 hierarchy of control. If you want to have this hierarchy of control in more detail on our channel QHC Akbar Jilani, hierarchy of control, a very good video on this, including all the details of the hierarchy of control, elimination, substitution, then reduction, and then the control, engineering control, administrative control, and the PPA. Everything is there. The continual improvement of the OHS management system means 10.2. We will discuss this in 10.2. Now, participation. In this policy, there will be the wording participation. And this is applicable to fulfill its applicable legal requirements. This international standards specify a number of interconnected requirements related to the commitment. These include the need to determine the applicable legal requirements, ensure operations are carried out in accordance with the legal requirements, evaluate fulfill of legal requirements, then correct non-conformities. The OSH policy shall be available, shall be available as documented information, be communicated within the organization, be available to interested parties as appropriate, be relevant and appropriate. Some organizations for the environmental sustainability do not friend this. So as if you have soft copy is also acceptable for audit point of view. Because some companies, environmental point of view, they do not print the document. So soft copy, if somebody coming for the audit, they will have to accept this. Soft copy is also acceptable, but signed by the top management. Now, 5.3 Organization Rule, Responsibility and Authorities. Top management shall ensure that the responsibilities and authorities for relevant rules are assigned and communicated within the organization. Top management shall assign the responsibilities and authorities for ensuring that the OSH management system conform to the requirement of the international standard. Reporting on the performance of the OHS management system, including OHS performance to top management. So that's why top management will be part of the management review, part of the audit, internal audit as well as external audit. Because the top management are the one who provide us the resources. Sometime in case of machinery, sometime in form of workforce, sometime in form of money for purchasing the different items for the health and safety. Note, while responsibility and authority can be assigned, ultimately top management is still accountable for the function of the OHS management system. For this, there will be documented information. If you have the role responsibility procedure, so once you are giving the top management, like you have MD, you have GM, or you have CEO, so the top management will be ultimately responsible or will be accountable. Then they cannot deny. So that's why they give ultimately responsibility to top management because they have the resources. So they have the resources there, so they have to provide the resources on time. Otherwise, if they are not accountable, they will not give the resources. When I was working there in my project in KSA, NEO, my PM telling me, Akbar, you are responsible for health and safety. I told, yes, I am responsible, but the top management PM is accountable. I am accountable. Yes, you are accountable because you people, the PM and the CM in construction, particularly take the shortcuts. And so that's why many accidents happen due to these people. So that's why they give the ultimate responsibility and accountability to top management. And this is very good. Consultation and participation of workers. This is important. So this is new addition to this standard of ISO 45001 standard. How should we encourage the provision of information and communication regarding the scope and objectives of the OHS management system? The provision of operational information and training on identified hazard elimination and control strategies, and residual risk assessment. C. Creating awareness of hazard and OHS risk. D. Improving competency. E. Assist to access to other workers for the purpose of communicating about health and safety. Issue 2C. Creating awareness of hazard and OHS risk. This is in C. So D is telling what you create the awareness, provide your workers to improve their competency and give them awareness. The provision of adequate time and resources to accomplish the fulfillment of the requirement. The provision of mechanism to foster, promote, and enable effective cooperation between managers and non-managers, supervisory and worker staff, workers' safety delegates, workers' health and safety committee are joint health and safety committees, as well as supervision of the selection of representative through workers or union organization in accordance with applicable legal requirements and other requirements. Providing protection from dismissal or reprisals, including disciplinary or other adverse measures for reporting or removing themselves from situation of serious danger or imminent harm. creating and maintaining a culture in the organization that support the OSH management system. The ILO, ILS recommended that time for the item in bullet 2E should be permitted during working hours. Now over here, something new. Now, like see, discuss in this new standard. This class uh, encompasses some key and critical change to OHS management system. The key leadership requirement contain both the HLS content and several key conditions for ISO 45001 are new protecting worker and supporting proper consultation commitment committees. Consultation and committees. Before this committee wording was not there, but now they put the committees, safety committees. Note also some addition to the HLS contents relating to OHS policy. The new class 5.4 on consultation participation is extensive and detailed. Before it was there, but it was not too much explained. Now here explain. Now this is the planning part. When the planning part is coming, this is the first part of the PDCA. First part of the PDCA. When we are talking about the plan, do, check, check, this come first. But this based on 4.1, 4.2 in also scope of the organization as well as the operations. So from the operation and from the 4.1, 4.2, we have had this planning. Action to address risk and opportunities. So now 6.2 will be the objective. So now we come this one by one. 6.1.2.1 hazard identification. Need to consider routine and non-routine activities and situation, including of infrastructure, equipment, material, substances, and the physical condition of the workplace. Hazard that arise as a result of product design, including during research, development, testing, production, assembly, construction, service delivery, maintenance, or disposal. Human factors, how the work is actually done, emergency situation, people including consideration of those with access to the workplace and their activities, including workers, contractors, visitors, and other persons. Those in the vicinity of the workplace who can be affected by the activities of the organization. Workers at a location not under the direct control of the organization. So, this also we have to consider. Like we have contractor, subcontractor employees not coming under us directly, indirectly. We have to provide, we have to consider them also in the risk assessment. Do other issues including consideration of the design of the work area, process, installation, machinery, equipment, operating procedure, and work organization, including their adaptation to human capabilities. Situation occurring in the vicinity of the workplace caused by work-related activities under the control of the organization. Situation not controlled by the organization and occurring in the vicinity of the workplace that can cause work-related injury and ill health to person in the workplace. Now, actual or proposed changes in the organization, its operations, process, activities in OHS management system. This will come in 8.2. Changes in knowledge of and information about hazard. Fast accident, internal and external to the organization, including emergency and their causes. So, what type, as we discussed, that any organization, there are different emergency scenarios. So based on this, we will have to develop the procedure for this. We will discuss this in the emergencies there. Emergency scenarios or situations. How work is organized and social factors including workload, working hours, leadership and the culture in the organization. So for this, there will be document information. Document information means something like you will have the risk register. You will have in the risk register routine and non-routine activities, and on which base you develop your risk register. Now, for the risk assessment, we have five-step process: identify the hazard, decide who may be harmed and how, evaluate the risk and decide on precaution, record your findings and implement them, review the assessment and update it if necessary. If you are interested to learn about more the risk assessment or risk management, there is one video on our channel, the risk management. So better to watch this uh, video and you will get more information about the risk management. Hazard identification, this also available on the channel. So it's better to go for the channel to have an overview of the hazard and risk. What is the difference between hazard and risk? Because many people, some of them, they are confused about I consider this risk or hazard. So once you have this video, you will be able to understand what is the difference between a hazard and a risk. Now we see this as part of the course. We see this, we take this one by one. Identify the hazard. How we will identify the hazard? Hazard identification should consider different types of hazard, including physical, chemical, biological, which are hazard found in the workplace. For hazard identification, we also have one video there, hazards in the workplace, or types of hazards. So you also can have this on the videos. Hazard identification process should be applicable to both routine and non-routine, periodic, occasional, or emergency activities and situations. Examples of non-routine activities and situations that should be considered during the health identification process include facilities or equipment cleaning, temporary process modification, non-scheduled maintenance, plant or equipment startups, shutdowns, field trips, refurbishment, extreme weather conditions, utilities, power, water, gas, disruptions, temporary arrangements, emergency situations. The taking human factor into account means applying that what is known about human capabilities, behavior, and limitation, and evaluating the hazard and risk of process, equipment, and work environment. Human factor should be considered whenever there is a human interface and take into account issues such as ease of use, potential for operational errors, operator stress, and user fatigue. In considering human factors, the organization has an identification process should consider the following: the nature of the job. What's the nature of the job? Workplace layout, operator, information, workload, physical work, work pattern, the environment, heat, lights, noise, air quality, human behavior, temperature, habit, tem- uh, temperament, habits, attitude, psychological capabilities, cognition, attention, psychological capabilities, bio, mechanical, then physical variations of people. Now, hazard identification should be conducted by a person with competence and relevant hazard identification methodologies and appropriate knowledge of the work activity. Okay, we will consult in the hazard identification. The people who are working in the particular activity because they know better than us. And this will not only consider for our employees, for contractor employees also, and also for the visitors, also for the people coming to our organization, or the neighbors also. So some tips to help you identify the ones that matter, like how we will identify the hazards. Walk around your workplace and look at what could reasonably be expected to cause harm. Ask your employees or their representative what they think they may have noticed things that are not immediately obvious to you. Have a look back at your accident and ill health records. These often help to identify the least obvious hazards. Remember to think about long-term hazard to health, high level of noise or exposure to harm substances, as well as safety hazard. Check manufacturer infrastructure or data sheet for chemical and equipment, as they can be very helpful in spelling out the hazard and putting them in their true perspective. Physical hazards. Now, the physical hazards we have from our different activities like electricity, radiation, noise or vibration, then uh, stored energy, the potential energy, frequent repeated tasks like the work-related upper limb disorders. When we are working in office and we sit on the chair, we have this type of WRULD, work-related upper limb disorders. Uh, Unsuitable thermal environment, which can lead to hypothermia or heat stress. The people they are working in heat and they are exposed to heat. So in the month of June, July, August, is 15th of September, there is a uh, break. No one allowed to work under heat. Sun direction, shaded area will be there. Unsuitable thermal environment, which can lead to hypothermia or heat stress. Violence to stop, leading to physical harm linked to the nature of the preparations. Now see here, this midday break from June 15 to September 15 is only in the Emirates. In other countries also it's applicable, but this is particularly in the UAE and Saudi Arabia. Ionizing radiation from XR, gamma rays, machines are radioactive substances. Non-ionizing radiation we have from the light, from magnet, and from radio waves. Chemical hazard, inhalation of vapor, gas, or particles, contact with or being absorbed through the body, ingestion, the storage of material. Biological, inhaled, transmitted contact. We have like bacteria, viruses, and fungi. Psychosocial, excessive workload. It causes excessive workload, workplace, physical environment, physical violence, bullying, or intimidation. This causes stress, anxiety, fatigue, and depression. Decide who may be harmed and how. This is the second step of the risk assessment. For each hazard, you need to be clear about who might be harmed. It will help you identify the best way of managing the risk. In each case, identify how they might be harmed, uh, what type of injury or ill health might occur. For example, uh, ship uh, attack, ship takers may suffer back injury from repeated lifting up boxes. Remember, some workers you have particular requirement, new and young workers, new or expecting mother, and people while disabilities may be at particular risk. Cleaner, visitors, contractor, maintenance work, who might be in the workplace all the time. Members of the public, if they could be harmed by your activities. Sometimes we are working in escape or in a busy place, and the worker they are coming. So we also have to provide them protection, safe way. If you share your workplace, you will need to think about how you work, how your work affect other present, as well as how their work affects your staff. And ask your staff if they can think of anyone you may have missed. Now we are talking about the probability of occurrence. Uh, if you uh, if you find out this uh, in the different books, it is very difficult uh, make clear or make to make clear um, classification of probabilities are consequence, are likelihood and probability. You will not find clear and understandable in many books for safety and also in many videos. I try my best to make this simple. We will discuss this in terms of uh, environment. Like see, one, where will be one rating? Because based on this rating of probability and probability, we also call this likelihood. Probability and severity are consequences. We find out the risk. Like when we are talking about one, less than once every 5 years. Once less than once. So after 7 year, 8 year or something. Two, 5 year. Once 5 year. Three, 1 to 5 times per year. 5 to 12 per year. Four. A continuous or will happen frequently. Now we are coming here to the consequences. We call this minor. Maybe I have some sample here. So I discuss this over here. This is not too much clear. From my side, I will, is the ADOS standard, what stealing I will based on this. Minor is the one, only first aid. Only first aid. Lexi, now come here. Is a little bit, okay. Health and safety. No medical treatment required, only first aid. Moderate, first aid is required, but we send the patient to the hospital for follow-up. So this is called 2. 3 is, we send, like the 2 is, 1 is just only from 1, please. We give first aid at our workplace. So this is 1 score or minor. Moderate, we provide first aid, but we send to hospital for follow-up. It is 2. Now 3. We send to the hospital and hospital people, they diagnose and they give some uh, leave, medical leave, LTI, last time injury, last time injury. So this is 3. Now 4. When 4, there is some disability, like eye is not working, temporary or permanent. This will be 4. Or single fatality, one guy die, one worker, then it will be 4. Then when we are talking about this is the major, when we are talking about the over here, this is the multiple fatalities, more than one, more than one. Now we discuss this and now we discuss then in terms of cost. If we have the cost up to 5,000 dirham, it will be, if we are talking about 5,000 dirham, it will be 1. More than 5,000 dirham, 50,000 or something. Then 3, more than 50,000 dirham. Up to 5, like 1 million. Then more than 1 million. Like up to 10 million. This is more than 10 million. This will be 5. If you want to go, this is clear there in the risk management. The rating is there. And this is clear in the other video that is available on the channel in the risk management. Also, you can have this from the technical guideline that we have in the ADO system, these ratings. Now, these are the, like, F1 to 3. This is the multiplication. F3 is the likelihood and 2 is the 3 is the likelihood and 2 is the consequence. It will be, the risk will be 6. This is the multiplication. F2 is the likelihood or probability and 3 is the risk, 3 is the consequence. It will become 6. So if the rating is 1 to 3 low risk, 4 to 6 moderate risk, 8 to 8 to 12 high risk, and 15 to 25 is extreme risk. So now we are discussing the low risk. No immediate action required. Activity or industry moderate can operate job subject to management and or modification. Activity is high risk. Activity or industry should be modified to include remedial planning and action subject to detailed EHS assessment. 15 to 25 stop activity because it's not allowed. Extreme risk. Now record and implement the 4th step. Written evidence provide evidence of compliance suitable and sufficient. Record a significant hazard and control. Identify any new control measure. Date for review. Date for review will be also there. Review and update to determine whether existing control are effective and adequate. Change in legislation after an incident or near misses. An introduction of new technologies or process. On major staff are organizational changes to respond to new hazard, to respond to changes that organization itself has made, to respond to feedback from monitoring activities in, including incident investigation, emergency situation, or the result of testing of emergency procedure. External factors, emerging occupational health issue, advance in control technologies, changing diversity in the workforce, including contractor, changing proposed by corrective and preventive action. Compliance obligation. The organization shall establish, implement, and maintain a process to determine and have access to up-to-date legal requirement and other requirements that are applicable to its hazard, OHS risk, and OHS management system. Determine how these legal requirements and other requirements apply to the organization and what needs to be communicated. Takes this legal requirement and other requirement into account when establishing, implement, maintain, and continually improve its OHS management system. Uh, the organization shall maintain and retain documented information on its legal requirement. So in this case, we will have legal register. Legal register. Each company will have their legal register. And when we are developing the legal register, it will include the UAE labor laws, all UAE labor laws. And also, if it's in Abu Dhabi, the ADOS relevant documents like the elements, mechanisms, the relevant COPs to the organizations. So our legal register will include all these documents. Legal requirement and other requirement can result in risk and opportunities for the organization. Then action, planning action. The organization shall plan action to address these risks and opportunities, address legal requirement, other requirements. The other requirements, sometimes the contractual agreement is also our contract with the requirement of our contract with the clients. This is also becomes a legal requirement. So when they are talking about the other requirements means self-regulations. Self-regulation of the organization. This self-regulation you will not find in other documents, in other ISO standards, not also in this standard. This is only in the ADOSH SF legal requirement. Sorry, not legal. Uh, in the other requirement, the self-regulation. Self-regulation is there only than the ADOSH standards, not in the ISO standards. So they're generally using the other requirements. So the other requirements, self-regulation also coming. Prepare for and respond to emergency situation, how to integrate and implement the action into OHS management system. Process or other business process. Evaluate the effectiveness of these actions. The organization shall take into account the hierarchy of controls and outputs from the OHS management system when planning to take action. When planning its actions, the organization shall consider best practices, technologies, option and financial, operational and business requirements. Now we are coming to the OHS objectives. The organization shall establish OHS objective at relevant function and level in order to maintain and continually improve the OHS management system performance. So this will be in 10.3. It will be there for the continual improvement. Actually, 10. What is 10.3? 10.3 is the class that's talking about the continual improvement. The OHS management system be consistent with the policy, be measurable, if applicable, or capable of performance evaluation. I just need to give the detail. First of all, we develop the policy based on the 5.2. And we support the policy by the objective 6.2. And we develop procedures to support the objective. Like see, we develop policy 5.2 and we support the policy by objective 6.2 and we develop different procedures. We develop different procedures based on our operations to support our objective. Now, let's see. In the objective, in the policy, we are stating this. We are stating this in the policy that enhance or improve the awareness of our employees regarding health and safety. For this, for this statement and policy, we will develop the objective, increase in training hours for our employees. For this statement, we develop training and competency procedure. Now we have another objective, decreasing of accidents by, now we have prevention of injury and ill health. So, means for this, we will develop the objective, reduction of incidents in our organization. For this, we will develop procedure, incident investigation and reporting procedure. So, to support policy, we develop objective. To support objective, we develop procedures. Clear, I think, is now. So now we come ahead. Take into account applicable requirements, the result of assessment of risk and opportunities, the result of consultation with workers, 5.4, and where they exist, worker representative. When we develop the objective, we will consider 6.1.2, our risk, where are our risks, and we will also consider our stakeholder requirement, like consultation with our workers, like 5.4. So we can say that all the classes of ISO's systems, classes and subclasses are interlinked, Like how we will develop objective on which base? On our policy, 5.2. Then how we will develop the objective, 6.1.2.3 or 6.1.2.2, because the risk. Now, how we will develop our objective? We have to consider our consultation from our employees, stakeholders. So 5.4. So all the ISOs, classes and subclasses are linked, interlinked or linked. Be monitored, be communicated, be updated as appropriate. OSH management system required objective must be documented. Soft copy, hard copy, no problem. So for the objective, once we develop the objective, we will have objective and management program for achieving the objective. How we will achieve the objective? Objective and planning management program. What will be done? what resources will be required. So this will be in the management program. Who will be responsible? The responsible party. When it will be completed, the time frame. How the result will be evaluated. Evaluation of objective. This will be also part of the management objective management programs. How the action to achieve which is objective will be integrated in the organization business process. Like we increase the business. Now we have to revise the objective and we have to planning. Now here 6.2.2 planning to achieve OHS objective. So the objective in management program. The organization shall maintain and retain document information on the OHS objective and plans to achieve them. The organization can plan to achieve objective individually or collectively. Plans can be developed for multiple objectives where necessary. The organization should examine the resources required, like financial, human, equipment, infrastructure, to achieve its objectives. When applicable, each objective should be situated with an indicator which can be strategic, technical, or operational. Similar to class number 4, uh, require input from key personnel and your organization. Now, here, now we will take the input from our risk register for the objective, from our incidents, and from our stakeholders. The input for the planning and objectives. Our 4.1, 4.2, then 6.1, the risk assessment, a risk register, and 5.4, the consultation with the organization implies. Now, much of the contents in the class 6 include very similar contents to this. Old standard OSAS 18.001.2007 on hazard identification, risk assessment, legal and other requirements. But ISO 4.5 broaden and arises the governance in the organization, plans and describing the requirement for achieving objectives shall require documentation. Now we are talking about the support system. Support. Now in the support part, what we will discuss in the support part, resources, competence, awareness, communication, documented information. In the support part, we will discuss all these 5 points. Resources. What do you mean by resources? The organization shall determine and provide the resources needed for the implementation, maintenance, and continual improvement of the OSHS management system. Example of resources include human, natural infrastructure, technology, and financial. Example of infrastructure include the organization buildings, plant, equipment, utilities, information technology, and communication system, and emergency containment system. Competence define ability to apply knowledge and skills to achieve intended results. The competence of worker, the competence of worker, the competence of worker should include the knowledge and skills intended to appropriate address the hazard and OHS risk associated with their work and workplace. In determining the criteria of the competence for each role, an organization should take into account such things as the education, training, qualification, and experience necessary to undertake the rules and retraining necessary to maintain competence, the worker environment in which they will be working. The hazard identified estimated OHS risk. The preventive and control measure resulting from the risk assessment process. Requirement applicable to the OHS management system. The, the right and responsibilities of person based on legal requirement and other requirements. Other requirement is we discuss self-regulation as well as our stake, our contract agreement with the client. The importance of compliance with the OHS uh, policy, the potential consequence of compliance and non-compliance, including the impact on occupational health and safety, the value of their participation in the OHS management system. The duties and responsibilities weighted with the rules, individual capabilities, including experience, language skills, literacy, and diversity. The relevant or updating of the competencies made necessary by context or work changes. Worker and where they exist, worker representative can assist in both identifying competencies and developing process to achieve them. Shall be determined, checked and documented for worker. Like see, we are hiring somebody for any force. There will be some competency uh, requirement. Like somebody we need for the maintenance manager. He will have bachelor degree and 5 years experience. For health and safety, we are hiring somebody will have graduation degree and apart from this NEBOSH, 10 years or 2 years experience. So this will be the competency requirement for the employees. And this will be there in their job description or criteria for competency. Awareness. Once we have our organization employees, we will give them some awareness. It could be internal or could be external. To ensure their work or act in safe and healthy conditions, the organization should make worker sufficiently knowledge of action to take in emergency situation, the consequence of individual actions and behavior in relation to OHS risk, the benefits of improved OHS performance, the need to conform to OHS policies and establish working practice, and the potential consequence of departing from the requirements of the OHS management system. Incidents and outcome of investigation that are relevant to them. In addition to workers, especially temporary workers, contractors, visitors, and any other parties should be aware of the OHS risk to which they are exposed. Communication. So that's why when somebody is coming to our organization, the visitors. So in many organizations, this is the process that they are given induction training and they are given badge for the visitors and somebody to whom they want to come. This guy to whom he want to meet, they come to the reception or they send somebody to the reception to take him to this particular department, meet this particular guy. Because in oil and gas, this is the requirement. And some other companies also the requirement, but some companies they don't have this requirement. Communication. When we are talking about the communication, in the communication part 7.4, the organization shall establish for the communication, implement and maintain the process need for internal and external communication relevant to the OHS management system include on what it will communicate, when to communicate, with whom to communicate. This is important. With whom to communicate, who will, to whom we will communicate, how to communicate, So this is called the protocol. This is called the protocol for the communication. Take into account its compliance obligation. They will discuss on the or they will have communication on the compliance obligation, the legal requirement. Ensure that OHS information communicated is consistent with the information generated within the OHS management system and is reliable. Suitable documented information will be maintained regarding internal and external communication. Internal communication with with the employees in the organization to have or to boost continual improvement in the organization. What is the risk in our workplace? We will communicate this to our whole team, all employees. External communication. The organization shall have their protocol for they will have their protocol for the external communication, like the relevant sector regulatory authority, how we will communicate and who will communicate. Now, documented information. For this, we will have documented information required because the auditor come, they will, okay, you have some internal communication, so show them safety committee meetings, internal communication, or if you conduct some training, show them. External communication, your communication with the interested parties or your regulatory authority requirements. So show us this, share this email with them. So show them the email, no problem. Creating and updating. If there is some changing in the documentation, we will have to update. Like a title on the document, there will be title, date, author or reference number. Language, software, graphics sometimes require control of the documented information. The documents that we have from laws of confidentiality, improper use, or laws of integrity. Because this is the intellectual property. See, this something is called the intellectual property of the organization. So now this is some already we discussed this. Operation. In the operation part, what we will discuss actually, planning and emergency preparedness and response. Operational planning and control. Operational control can use a variety of different methods, for example, the introduction of procedure and system of work. Ensure the competency of worker. Establish preventive, predictive maintenance and inspection program. Specification for the procurement of goods and service. Compliance with preventive regulation and manufacturer instruction for equipment. In engineering control, physical device such as barrier followed by administrative control, warning, signs and alarm, and signals are access control, procedure and other work instructions. Adapt work to workers. Now, hierarchy of control, as we discussed there, we have one video on this um, on our channel, so you can also watch this video. Hierarchy of control, elimination, substitution, engineering, signage warning, and person protective equipment. This is the ADOSH hierarchy. Management of change. This management of change before this 8.1.3, before 2015, in the international standards, this management of change was not there. In the international standards, this management of change was not there. But this was there in 2012 in the OSHA. This was first introduced by OSHA in 2012. After 2012, in 2015, they also, the ISO standard like ISO 9001 and 14 also introduced this wording. And now also in there in the ISO 45 2018 is also there. Management of change. When there is management of change, as there will be many things change. Like regulation change. So it will be there. Determine and the organization establish a process for the implementation and control of planned temporary and permanent changes that impact OSHMS performance. New products coming, service and process are change thereof, including workplace, location and surroundings, work organization, working condition, equipment and workforce. Then change in legal requirement and other requirement, change in knowledge or information hazard and OHS risk, develop in knowledge and technology, whether review of consequences of unintended changes and mitigation is necessary done. Procurement, contractors and outsourcing. Contractor activities and operation to the organization worker. Organization activities and operations to the contractor workers. Contractor activities and operation to other interested parties in the workplace. Contractor activities and operation to contractors works. Like see, we have the contractor management policy we have to develop. Also, supply chain. Emergency preparedness and response. Now, every organization have to identify their emergency scenarios. Like in school, what will be the emergency scenario? In hospital, in site, like construction site, in manufacturing site, we have to identify our significant risk that happen to our organization. Based on this, we will develop the emergency preparedness procedures. That organization is a planned response to emergency situations, including provision of first aid. The organization responds to actual emergency situations. Periodic testing. So, like we conduct the fire drill or medical emergencies, spill. So this will be there. Periodic testing. Periodic review and update of procedures and plans based on testing and after actual emergency situations. Provision of relevant information to worker on duties and responsibilities. Provision of training for the plan response. Today we have fire drill and actual fire drill. If we conduct the fire drill, then the people will be aware how to go to the assembly point and what will be the response to go to the assembly point. Now, communication relevant information to contractor, visitor, and external agencies and authorities. Take into account input and review for interested parties. Documented information is required. If your auditor is coming and telling you emergency plan, emergency response plan. Yes, we have. Then the annual plan for the emergency drills. Yes, we have. Then the fire drill record or medical emergency record, they can ask. So now we go ahead. Performance evaluation. Monitoring, measurement, analysis, and evaluation. Internal audits. Then management review. Same as other same as other the ISO standards. Now over here, when we are talking about this operation, in this operation, we will have to develop the procedures. We will have to develop procedures for our operations. Like see, what is our permit to work? We will develop for this procedure. Safe system of work procedure. Like we will develop, like we are construction company and we are doing excavation. For this, we will have excavation. And we are a company like, again, take manufacturing, working at height procedure is we have to require first aid procedure, So these are OCPs, or operation control procedures we have to develop. This is regarding the operations. Now we are discussing performance evaluation. So in this performance, what is actually performance evaluation? Every organization in this class number 9, we will discuss the performance evaluation. We are doing many activities in our organization, and to check that, because this is the PDCA check part. So in this check part, what are our planning and what we did in this class number 9, the check part, what we will do. Monitoring means inspecting. Audit and management review. Let's see. In the monitoring 9.1, we will monitor in terms of inspection, documented record, in terms of using different instruments and our equipment, and then after physical inspection. So 9.1 regarding the physical inspections of the workplace, and after this the management system, internal or external audit, and after this management review. After this, we will check about the management review. We will discuss in the management review. So this is the check part, C part of the PDCA. General, progress on meeting policy commitment, achieving objective and continual improvement. Occupational health complaint, health surveillance of workers and work environment monitoring. Then work-related incident, injuries and ill health and complaint, including trends. The effectiveness of operational control and emergency exercise are to evaluate the need to modify or introduce new controls. 8.1. Proactive and reactive action affecting the organization, OHS performance. Performance of OHS management system and competence. What's the competence we need? So we also have to take into account the competence. Examples of what could be monitored and measured to evaluate the fulfillment of legal requirement can include but are not limited to identify the legal requirements. What are the applicable legal requirements? The status of identified gaps in compliance. We have developed the legal requirements, but we fulfill the legal requirement or not. What are the gaps? What are missing? It includes but are not limited to. Ein union implies agreement. Union, yon means union, employer agreement. Standard and codes. What is our employer agreement? Unions. Standard and codes. Corporate and other policies, rules and regulation. Insurance companies' requirements. We fulfill or not. Evaluation of compliance. You have developed the legal requirement. Based on this, do the evaluation. Or if you have objective, do the evaluation for this. The organization shall establish, implement, and maintain the process needed to evaluate fulfillment of its compliance obligation. The organization shall determine the frequency that compliance will be evaluated. Evaluate compliance and take action if needed. Maintain knowledge and understanding of its compliance status. Retain document information of the compliance evaluation results. Internal audit. In the internal audit, what we will have, the organization shall conduct internal audit at planned interval to provide information on whether the OHS management system conform to the organization own requirements for its OHS management system. The requirement of this international standard is effectively implemented and maintained. In the program, there will be like the audit program, including the frequency, methods, responsibility, plan requirement, reporting of its internal audits. As per the standard requirement, internal audit will be conducted once in a year by someone, the trained auditor. internally trained auditor, but the auditor will not conduct audit for their own department. Like I'm in the HSC department. So for other departments, I conduct the audit, can conduct the audit. But for my department, I cannot conduct the audit because there will be a conflict of interest will come. Conflict of interest. Because I am in the HSC guy, I cannot give NC to my department. So this conflict of interest. Now, the annual audit will be conducted once in a year. If your organization want to conduct this quarterly, yes, you can do internally. Because some organization, they conduct biannually, means after 6 months. I developed for one company the system. They told me, revise this system, revise this because over there I just only give the frequency once in a year. He told no, make this two. I told why? He told me because we are working with the EDNO. And EDNO is our client, so they conduct this twice in a year, biannually. So make this two. I make this two. So this up to you. But do not increase this quarterly or something. Biannually is okay, or annually. If you have this in biannually, then you have to conduct this. Otherwise, if you wrote in the procedure 2 times and you conduct this once time, then will be a problem. Management review. Now in this, we will talk about the management review. The status of what will be the input in the management review. And now management review is the frequency of management review will be once in a year. Once in a year. If you want to conduct this biannually, you also can conduct this, no problem. But if you have this in procedure biannually, then 6 months you have to conduct definitely. If you do not conduct this biannually, we will be in trouble. Management review input the status of action from previous management review. What is the status of previous management review? Change in external and internal issues that are relevant to the OHS management system, including uh, the need expectation of interested parties, legal requirement, other requirement, risk and opportunities, the extent to which the OHS policy and the OHS objective has been met, information on the OHS performance, including trends and incident, non-conformities, corrective action, and continual improvement, monitoring and measurement result of evaluation of compliance with legal requirement and other requirement, audit results, consultation, participation of workers, risk and opportunities, adequacy of resources for maintaining an effective OHS management system, relevant communication with interested parties, opportunities for continual improvement. Management review output will be the continuing suitability, adequacy, and effectiveness of the management review, continual improvement opportunities, any need for change to the OHS management system, resources needed, action if needed, opportunities for improvement, integration of the OHS management system with other business process, any implication for the strategic direction of the organization. The organization shall retain document information. Improvement. Class 10 improvement. In this class, we will discuss. So this is the PDCA part. This is the PDCA part of the management system. And this class has been divided into 3 subclasses. And these 3 subclasses, what we will discuss: 10.1, 10.2, and 10.3. 10.1, the general requirement. 10.2 is the non-conformity and corrective action. And 10.3 is the continuing improvement, is like other ISO standards. The organization shall determine opportunities for improvement and implement necessary action to achieve the intended outcome of its environmental management system or health and safety management system. When an incidents are conformity and corrective action. When an accident or non-conformity occur, the organization shall react in a timely manner to incidents or non-conformity and take direct action to control and correct it, then deal with non-consequences, evaluate with participation of worker, as we discussed there already, and the involvement of other relevant interested parties, and the need for corrective action to eliminate the root cause. When we are uh, the when we are investigating the non-conformity and we find out the proper root cause, we will have to take corrective preventive action for this. Reviewing the incidents or non-conformity, determining cause of the incidents or non-conformity, root cause analysis, be focused on prevention and not on blame or punishment. Because this is the system. Actually, we are doing the um audit for the system improvement, not to blame anybody. Review the assessment of risk, determine implement any action needed, like 8.2, 8.3 we will discuss. If we have some changes, we will discuss. Continual improvement. Objectives. What are the objectives for continual improvement? The organization shall continually improve the suitability, adequacy, and effectiveness of the OHS management system to prevent occurrence of incident and non-conformities, promote a positive occupational health and safety culture, enhance OHS performance. The organization shall ensure the participation of worker as appropriate in the implementation of its continual improvement. Uh, Opportunities. Examples of issue to identify opportunities include, but are not limited. New technology. New technology, so changes occur. So how we will manage this? Good practice, both internal and external to the organization. Suggestion and recommendation from interested parties. New knowledge and understanding of health and safety related issues. New or improve, improved materials, change in worker capabilities or competence, achieving improved performance with fewer resources, simplification, streamlining, then continual improvement and continuous improvement. Uh, we have for this one video, so you can also have this video on our channel. Now, what will be the mandatory documents and record required by ISO 45001 2018? We discussed this system. So, what are the mandatory documents will be there for the ISO standard, ISO 45001 2018 standard? Now, in this section, we are discussing the mandatory and non-mandatory documents required for the ISO 45001 2018 standard. So be with me to know about the mandatory and non-mandatory documents that we require for the ISO 45001 2018. Scope of the management system is for the class number 4.3. Scope of the system will be documented. We can describe this in our manual. OHS policy will be there. 5.2 and signed by the top management. This is a mandatory document for the ISO 45 45001. Responsibility and authority there will be within the OSHMS. Responsibility and authority. Class number 5.3. Then risk and opportunities 6.1.1. Methodologies and criteria for assessment of OHS risk. OHS objective and management program 6.2.2. Emergency procedures will be there. Or if not emergency procedure, then but it's better to have the classify the scenarios and also filed drill plan. Drill plan will be there, annual drill plan, and also emergency drills record will be there. OHS risk and opportunities action. Legal and other requirements, 6.1.3 will be there. Evidence of competency. So for the job competency will be there. Flames for responding to potential emergency situation, clause 8.2. So drill plan and drill plan as well as the drill plan and what are the scenarios and the drill report, like the fire drill, evacuation, and spill, if some chemical is there, and medical emergency. Result on monitoring measurement, like the environmental monitoring, like noise testing, air testing, then lux, then some other. This depends on the organization. Like legal and other requirements, evidence of competence, evidence of communication, internal, external, emergency, result on monitoring. We discuss this again. So now maintenance calibration of, if we have some calibration equipment, then compliance evaluation results, internal audit program will be the 9.2.2. Internal audit program, result of management review report will be there. Nature of incidents, some incidents they are non-conformities, and the lesson learned from the incidents. Result of any action, corrective action. Evidence of result of continual improvement will be there. Non-mandatory documents, procedure part determining context of the organization. This is not mandatory, but if you have good. My manual is not required, but if you have good. Procedure part consultation participation. No procedure required, but if you have good. Procedure part hazard identification in assessment. If you have, good. If you don't have, no problem. Then procedure for identification is assessment and legal requirement. But legal register will be there, risk register will be there. But if you don't have the procedure, no problem. Communication procedure, no need, but safety committee meeting will be there. Document control record detention. You don't have procedure, but your document will have some numbers. Identification is we discussed there. Operation planning and control. Procedure for management of change of management. If you don't have procedure, no need, but the record you will have. Procedure for monitoring measurement analysis. There will be some reports, noise reports, air report, water testing, then like lux testing. Procedure for compliance evaluation. You don't have, but the legal register compliance you will have. Procedure for internal audit. If you don't have, no need, but audit plan, internal audit report, and competency of auditor. The auditor is trained or not trained. Management review. Do not need procedure, but management review program will be there. Or management review report. Incident investigation. No need for procedure, but the incidents corrective preventive action, these will be there. Procedure for management of non-conformities corrective action. This is not mandatory, but still you will have to prove some record. Non-mandatory documents. Procedure for continual improvement. If you have, okay, no need. If you don't have. If you have any question, please let me to know your question. If you have any question, give your question in the comment section and we will reply to your comments. Thank you very much. If you are new on our channel, please like our channel and also watch our videos. And watching our videos, give your comments. Thank you very much and we'll see you with the next video. Okay, if you have question, please. Ali Bhai,
Yes, sir.
you have any question, please?
All good and clear. Thank you,
So,
sir. I appreciate your effort.
okay. So now we will discuss this later. Now you just only keep, you want to take some break?
والله better. Inshallah, 2 hours continuous.
So you will, 12:30 you will come back, okay?
12:30.
12:30, okay?
All right. inshallah, no
Okay, we
problem.
will take a break and we will start later. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir.